You know, it's been a while since I talked about Team Fortress 2. Ever since the first top 9, seems a lot of you have been wanting some more. So, who am I to say no? By far, what makes TF2 are its wonderful rogues gallery of goofballs, for both the core dynamics and its meme lord throne. But let's say you've had enough red and blue cheese smothering your computer screen, and maybe you're after a legit good game. Remove the character, and you've got a rousing game of find the hat in the weapon stack. And that's a fun game. Since I'm a big fan, you may not see me talk shit about some bad weapons, unless you want to follow up to this, in which case, caps lock that sumbitch and let me know. But this is my priority, speaking well of my favorites within Manco's gigantic armory. Obvious rules apply, no reskins, and no stock weapons. And all will be considered with the awesome gunmetal updates applied. Men?
Yes!
Time to work.
Let's do it!
I take pity on M1 Pyros. No, not that I encourage senselessly pissing flames with the degreaser, but more so from the lack of having the secondary. I know. Pressing 2 is hard work. But as funny as it is to see a teammate derped into submission, anybody that misses out on Pyro's awesome collection of secondaries warrants a stock sadness jingle. There's the good old shoddy and annoyingly good reserve shooter, which are always good choices. But if I could just have a little more fun, could you just switch to... Oh, that's hot. In any game, I admire versatility. The regular flare gun is the most powerful of its kind, but this iconic alternate is perhaps the most diverse. One of the key selling points to the SCORCH shot is that it features a knockback mechanic. Anybody that crosses paths with Mr. Freeman will tell you the nightmares of the dreaded air blast, consumed by the fear of propulsion dominating their will. It's a universal fear supremacized by the masked mumbler. And let me tell you, if you've got a secondary that can emulate that sort of power, you're holding some awesome in your hand. At first shot, it knocks your enemy back similarly to an air blast. As with all knockback, it's a wonderful tool for throwing your prey off, potentially flinging them into greater danger, or quench our thirst for a Fusro domination 12 light years per hour off that smexy upward cliff. Also carries with it Pyro's deadliest attribute, Afterburn, so you may as well call it the panic attack. Oh, so goody. It ignites enemies and is a champion at dodgeball, but it wouldn't be a flare gun without an effect on burning targets. Thanks to the gunmetal buff, it now mini-crits burning players, and pretty much gives your enemies no clip for half a second.
Holy shit!
It's fun. And surprisingly useful thanks to the buff. Throw in the ability to blast jump and eradicate sticky traps. I love you. I'll stand by it as long as I have to. Heavy is my favorite class if we're talking personality. I mean, shit, I need chloroseptic just listening to this fucker. But he's got something we could all probably relate with. He's got some weird interests. The sandwich thing ain't so weird. But what kind of motherfucker courts his gun?
Kiss me.
Do I even want to know who's the one pumping? Oh god, Heavy! For fuck's sake! You have a medic! Give him a hug when you're lonely!
Sasha!
Is that how they do it in Russia? That's stupid. I mean, how can anyone...
Erecting a...
Love can drive a man crazy. And most of you probably figure I'm crazy for putting this thing on here. But Miss Natasha is some catch. Or pitch, I don't know, interests. Prior to the Strongbox patch and recently the gunmetal update, this was undoubtedly the worst of all the miniguns. Yeesh. It's me in the morning. The catch with Miss Natasha is a slower spin-up time and a damage penalty. For what Heavy normally does, that doesn't sound like a smart choice. Heavy specializes in raw offensive and defensive tanking, taking assloads of abuse and basically chuck it right back in your face Wobbuffet fashion. The stock minigun, as well as most of the others, capitalize on this beefy as hell offense. Natasha, however, caters to defense. Your spin up may be slower and the DPS may not be as top notch as stock, but you're 20% more resilient while the, tip is deployed, meaning snipers can no longer one-shot you with full overheal, and fights with stock heavies are no longer one-sided. That's fantastic. Combined with a good vaccinator medic, you now become an incredible defensive force. Sometimes it can be really hard to kill you. The other perk is that it slows down your enemies. If even one of those chick bullets hits them, they gain like 80 tons. On the surface, that seems really stupid. Slow my enemies down? Why? Am I gonna make them make me a sandwich? Well, it actually does a good job. All the other guns go merciful and allow them to slip away. Damn it, Sasha! You can forget about the
No!
Nat sticks her tip out and says, "Fuck all that, sweetie. You got this close, you're getting a kissy kiss."
You are fucked! Not a big surprise. Ha ha!
Shpee. You're a Dorito chip under a pack of Groudons. You even dare materialize into sight. You're a sneeze away from being the Crumblies only the vacuum tastes. Deadly when under the radar, but that's only after you've escaped the bullets and gotta help you whatever Scout brought with him. His meet the videos kick ass, but it's hardly accurate. Spy's like a goddamn temple artifact you can't touch without some kind of crack. That's because no weapon grants him a larger health cap, except for one. I give you the CONNIVER'S KUNAI, a sidearm cutlass that heavily promotes caution. You may be surprised to find this here, seeing how I just took a shot at the class's frailty, but it doesn't take brainy hair to tell you this deathly dagger is hell in disguise. Equipping it as a first-timer, the reaction must have been unanimous. Holy shot, I've been shit! Meet the Kunai spy. What seems like only half a gentleman stands tall as the devil's delegate. Weapons that reduce health can suck a fatty. I generally hate them. Even lowering the white plus by 10 is bad, but 55? Sweet RPGesus! A single melee hit is a quick howdy doody to Grim. Why would anyone want that? Take notes from Star Raptor Lord. Keep your eyes on blue. I'd tell a joke, but there's already something out there that sucks. Sucks up souls. Whatever opposite colored sap unlucky enough to have their spine poked, their soul is leached and temporarily fills in for the one you sold. It's so evil. A spy wielding this thing may be as brittle as soggy single-ply toilet paper starting out, but is also capable of attaining an overheal stat even higher than a stock spy gets, which is basically like having your very own pocket medic at all times. Hell, it's better than overheal. While a medic's overheal fades within 15 short seconds, the soul you steal from that backstab you earned grants you that sapped health for 4 times as long. Now that's incredible in its own right. But there's a lovely, gratuitous perk to being Satan's spiffy puppet. Backstabbing an enemy not only saps their HP, but anything degenerative to your health like afterburn or bleeding vanishes. I like to think of it as an extreme dice roll. The idea of having that little health starting out can really be a problem. It's a risky approach, and it can limit your presence if not properly understood. But in the long run, it can reward you far more than the stock options or the Aladdin reference. Ah, rations. Come to spee. Soldier's a mixed bag for me. It's the kind that holds the occasional unusual war pig, perhaps an Aussie rocket launcher, but also festers in the stench of aid-stained pickaxes, dysfunctional sandmans, and
Maggots!
yeah. But you know, 8.5 out of 10 scientists agree that maggots can't fly. So, we're safe up here, honey. This little sky princess might have a touchy name, depending on where this video is being played, so I'm just gonna call her Ariel. Much prettier. When the Love and War update hit the scene, nobody could stop doing the late conga or take their eyes off Mr. Turner. Except me. I was too busy having the most fun I've ever had with the Trollder. If we're being honest with ourselves here, Sully is pretty much an air fighter, like a Jigglypuff singing the Rocket Man, outrunning the wind itself, and greatly benefits from maintaining a higher ground and attacking from above. It was worse when it first came out, but Gunmetal once again pulled through with kick-assery, and made TF2 Air's tickets scrap cheap. Ariel's all about relocating hell and placing it above you. Hold that sweet little trigger after a blast jump, and mother of dicks, it's Fantastic Four's opening weekend. Nah, I kinda don't feel guilty for that. You're gonna have to look me in the eye and say that ain't crazy, cause I just might not believe you. With an additive clip increase on 4 subsequent kills, this thing can hold up to 8 rockets in a single goddamn clip. And they ain't weak. Only a 15% damage penalty, and a barely noticeable blast radius decrease. Hard to joke about something this powerful. It's pretty much a direct DPS upgrade from the stock in certain common situations. Let that sink in and eat your soul. So Johnny Bravo, Gabelicious. Obviously, this thing's gotta be the O and P in oh crap. Maybe? While it is true that the damage output is jacked up the wazooski, you need to rocket jump efficiently and consistently enough for your damage indicators to scream OPAF. Meaning, you either take a fuck ton of damage from your own blast jumps, pairing it with a shoddy, strict airtime with gunboats or a buff bugle, or pair it with the parachute me to maximize airtime at the risk of being Sniper's next taxidermized bitch. Not to mention, the direct hit direct shits on floaty trolgers. So, no, not too strong, but very strong for sure. I tend to piss people off, don't I? Maybe it's my voice, maybe mannerisms, or some trivial shit, but it'll never cease to be a theme. Hate to perpetuate this ever-running train, but it's not like I can control it, and this next segment is an ironic kick to the balls, because it does just that. Hold on to your head, butt, bladder, wherever the salt comes from. In comes the sleeper. Well now, fuck's this. Has Logan turned into a troll? No, just speaking for a severely overhated weapon. This is one of the most despised weapons in the whole game, and there's no reason for it to be so. Almost everyone in their pet capybara refuses to think of Sniper as an actual support class, for the sole fact that he happens to possess the strongest hit scan hardware of all the mercs, able to consistently deal a minimum of 150 damage and maximum 512 damage with his trademark headshot, with all his rifles except this one. Naturally, that power went to everybody's head, as quite a lot of players that pick up Sniper try to make him an offensive class. You know how many face and palm replacements I've had to get listening to shit like this? I myself take the role as Sniper with the fucking title in mind. You want to be a lone wolf, thirsty for MLG jollies? Whatever. I like this weapon. It's true what they say. This thing can't headshot by regular means. As a trade-in, instead of doing regular burst damage, it pisses your enemies on, charges 25% faster, and coats the target in Girardi dependent on how long a scope shot is charged. In case you've forgotten, being covered in that stuff ain't good. You take 35% more damage than someone dry, putting you at a huge disadvantage. And something that can apply that to multiple targets across the map is in no position to be called terrible. A single Sydney sleeper sniper, say that 5 times fast, can fuck up an enemy team something real nasty, if not taken care of, as he's technically providing his buddies with damage buffs no matter where he is. True, you'll largely end up with a ton of assists, but goddamn can it get work done. Also, its fully charged shots can still one-shot more than half of the classes. Body shots are only for noobs, but splash damage kills? Give that war hero pancakes! But the real reason it's awesome? Fuck! Fuck! Now you're dead, wrong, and smell like shit.
Look out, lads! Bombs on the way!
Oh, Medic. How the others underestimate you so. He may not be an absolute powerhouse in anything outside the derpy-ass random crit roulette, but his powers of remedy and scientific gumption are a force to be feared more so than any glorified boomstick. The reason being his amazing Nobel-prized beaut, the Medigun. It's a weapon you can only hate out of jealousy. For a while, I was torn at which Medigun was my favorite, but after the Vaccinator nerf, the Quick Fix rapidly took the front seat. Getting hurt sucks. Even little boo-boos aren't welcomed. This will only sting for a moment was merely a medical fantasy for the longest time. Enter the Uber update. Medic stole the frickin' show in the premiere of his Meet the video, and the path to glory was attainable through his brand new Medigun. In my eyes, the Medic's strongest attribute for most situations is the rate at which he heals his patient. That's not to say Ubers aren't so, quite the opposite. But healing as many allies as quickly and efficiently as possible will matter everywhere and at all times. And that's what the 3rd gen Medigun is all about. Speed. And mobility in general. With a hefty 40% faster healing rate, you can mend your wounded buddies so much faster than the other Mediguns. Accounting for around 34 health units every second, you can fully heal every friendly class in less than 10 seconds, which is freaking insane. The mobility perks are quite useful. No matter how fast your patient is, you'll go the same speed. making it the only medigun that can pocket scouts on the move. Hooray for equality! And any form of blast jumping performed by the patient will carry the medic with him wherever he goes, which can get the medic to where he's needed almost immediately. It's surreal to see medics so spontaneously everywhere, and it makes playing as him far more fast-paced and enjoyable than the other options, in my opinion. The fact that you can carpool with blast jumping soldiers, demos, and heal so goddamn fast makes medic a literal guardian angel.
We are invincible!
I haven't even mentioned the Uber charge. 300% heal rate. For Christ's sake! This sounds unstoppable.
Then no.
While you heal super fast, you can only give patients half the overheal the other options would normally give. And even though pyros can't handle you as easily, snipers, spies, and large enough bursts of damage can end you as always. Regardless of these balances, the benefits granted by the quick fix are simply incredible. A god is nothing if not omnipresent, and with this pretty thing, ours most certainly is. Oh yes! Time for Prince Tavish's royal piece of the lion's son of a bitch cake. More so than any class in the game, Demo Man's the one most people pick just to fuck around. He's the wasted epitome of stupid, ridiculous fun in this game. That's because there's so many ways to go demo. Pipe bombs, stickies, demo night, sticky jumper, or that douchebag with the caber. God, I love this clown! For someone so silly, he can be given some serious tools of destruction, but I'm here just to have the best time. Hello, loose cannon. There are three main things Demo is associated with: destruction, chaos, and just being a buffoon. Having what's probably the most appropriate name of any of these hunks of devastation, the loose cannon is just as much loose as— No! This is an all-new variant of Nick Fury I call Demo Manin. Haha! This is the weird thing. Where this shithead got a pirate's cannon is beyond me. But whichever Johnny Depp movie he stole it from, ain't getting it back. This is one of the few weapons in the game you can charge. And I'm not talking like a sniper rifle. The fuse lasts only about a second before its cannonball explodes. Where that ends up detonating is all up to you to decide. Already being a weird concept, the damage scaling for it is really schizophrenic. Hitting the enemy directly with the cannonball doesn't do all that much damage, but it sends them fucking flying! Damn! I hope you weren't planning on living! Another weird thing is that the explosion doesn't do too much damage either. So, to a traditional demo, this takes a long time adjusting to. The only real way to do damage with this thing is to time your charge shot into one insane combo. My god! Bloody firecrackers aren't the extent of this long tom. You can also jump with it. Dude, you're sick. It's clunky and kinda hard to handle properly, but son of a bitch is it a party. Choosing just one weapon from Scout's loadout was hard. How do you do that? It's like picking your favorite pizza. God, what do I choose? Atomizer. Wait, Force of Nature. Winger. Ah! I can't choose my babies! I can tell you right off the bat. How high is your horse to think you can just cut me off? Oh, you're cute. Administrator, Logan's cheating again. No, I'm the Bat and Cleaver Man. Last time I checked, nobody argued with those. So run along and make another movie. If I talk about either the Sandman or the Flying Guillotine on its own, the world will fucking explode. It's the law of nature. Do you order your burger and not take the fries? Do you watch Jerry without Tom? Do you eat Oreos milkless? What kind of life is that? These two weapons are the OTP. The Sandman is often considered Scout's best melee weapon for its lack of a damage penalty and its ability to stun mid to long range opponents, allowing for easy gimps and kills. This is complemented perfectly by the Flying Guillotine, a clean 50 damage shot with about 40 extra in bleed damage. But it freaking crits for 150 on stunned opponents. My, what a specific stat. With these two combined, you have a shot as powerful as a fully charged body shot on a crippled target. A powerful option against any class. On their own, they're offsetted by their negative changes. The Sandman gives you even less health and has a long recharge time, and the Guillotine replacing Scout's other options for countering his biggest weakness, sentries. But they're a dream team put together. It's really cool how they act as long-ranged attacks, covering a spectrum Scout's awesome primaries don't cover. And the super quick recharge time of the Guillotine aids in the Sandman's lengthy recharge time. The only problem with this this combo is that you're sacrificing increased range and damage output for both your versatility and survivability, as both slots are home to wonderful options for the Bostonian bitch getter in this regard. That, and you can't do anything against sentries, which can really make you feel like the littlest bitch. But Jesus Christ, do you hit hard! It's for the type of scout that just wants to hurt people, and while everything is ethically wrong about that, it feels kinda right at the same time. Remember when I said I admire versatility in any given design? Well, what happens when you take TF2's emblem of versatility and stick him in a video with only one segment to go? Even though Scout is my favorite, NG ain't too far off. And I can't deny the man's incredible loadout, from as unbalanced as Smith's Short Circuit to the potent, salty flavor of the pre-gunmetal gunslinger, and Old Thompson to the ludicrous Jag of today. Engineers always had a weapon aligned with the community's crosshairs, for the good, bad, and ugly. And throughout the many patches, they've all been negatively weakened to a large degree, except for one. The one weapon that, no matter the nerfs made to his other playstyles, always stays strong and complements those that need help. Men and madams, the Rescue Ranger. For the longest time, NG had a consistent problem. Whenever you would hold an important choke point down on defense with your vanilla sentry, you had little to no choice in how to handle it effectively. Sure, you could spam fuck the team roster with 7 hatless handymen to help, but that's a quick path to god facepalming. No, in order for a solo NG to keep their baby alive during crazy pushes, they'd have to turtle and stay right next to the sentry, whacking it non-stop. Of course, as we all remember, it was an easy way to get fucked up. Valve, as they always do eventually, listened to our teeth-gritting yells of frustration and revolutionized engineering forever with this jacked up trick shotty. Most of NG's firepower is hit scan, so it was weird to see him shoot a projectile that wasn't a sentry's rocket. But these aren't just any projectiles. They're multi-purpose, long-ranged bolts, capable of healing any team building at pretty much a sniper's range. You could be across the goddamn map, and you can still heal your machines as effectively as you would close range, without using metal. This means the gap between the engineer and his stuff can be significantly larger, ensuring additional survivability to both you and your buildings, which is often the biggest factor to the outcome of any match. Even better, it works the other way around. Too much firepower raining down on your precious baby, right-click, and bring him, or her, back safely from the bad people, at the cost of 100 metal, giving the hulking level 3 sentry incredible mobility, and the engineer access to godlike positioning. Sounds too good to be true, really. But too good never flies. The Rescue Ranger has suitable drawbacks. Only 4 shots in a clip, half of the shotty's max ammo, and about half the firepower, so it's almost strictly for utility. That, and the bolts can't refill sentry ammo, or do anything to one that's being sapped. Despite that, its incredible benefits can be breathtaking, especially when combined with other options, and that's why it's my number 1. And if a single weapon can do that, on top of reinventing his whole meta, it's safe to say it's pretty damn good, and has well earned this glorious top spot. This has been Fawful's Minion, and thanks 100,000 for watching. Bye bye!